tandem in the Big Ten. Mike, thank you. It is a huge game in the month of December. Two top 15 teams, the Hawkeyes and the Spartans. 20 conference games means you got to start early, and we are in the Big Ten on FS1 tonight. Hi again, everyone. Tim Brando by my side is Jim Jackson. Now, both teams got off to tough starts. When you think about it, Iowa lost at home, a game they thought they should have won. Michigan State won on the road to Rutgers. Their home opener in the Big Ten. What do you think?
Well, you get two of the highest scoring teams in the Big Ten about to go at it. So you know they love to put the ball in the basket. I think the key for Iowa, can they make enough jump shots from the perimeter? Doug mentioned guarding the guards from Michigan State. You're going to see two of the most physical post players go at it, Tyler Cook from Iowa and Nick Ward. So it's going to be a battle inside. It's going to be a battle outside. Let's see which side can ultimately come out to get that W.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Iowa. And Bohannon, the team really runs through him. Tyler Cook is their big load. He's a tough take for Michigan State. And Garza, also a high-low game for him. Spartans are without Matt McQuaid with a deep thigh bruise, out for a second straight game. That means Kyle Arns will get the go, along with Dorns, Ward, Langford, and of course Cassius will be running the show. Our officials, DJ Karstensen, Paul Sales, and Rob Kuhneman. We talked about the loss of a player of the caliber of Matt McQuaid, and it's actually been 3 games, not 2. This has been 2 weeks, basically, that he's been out of the lineup, and it was a nondescript injury that happened in the last minute of the Texas game. So they're going to really rely heavily on Arns for the majority of the playing time. He is a similar player to McQuaid in many ways, but very young.
He is, but McQuaid is not built like you, Tim, so you can absorb having a thigh injury and still get out there and play. He's a little bit more slender, so it hit his muscle a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the old first baseman in me, right? A little more girth with me.
A little bit more girth.
Yeah. Opening tap, control to Michigan State. There's a nice look inside the coins. Winston ooping it to him. 2-0, Spartans. And the fans rising to their attention here at Breslin, one of the great buildings in all of college basketball.
Great atmosphere. Let me tell you, I was talking to Mike Garland, who's an assistant coach with Michigan State. He talked about Cassius Winston. You know, talk about his highly intelligent, understanding the game flow. And right there, you saw him just casually lay the ball exactly where we're going to get that and finish it at the rim.
See Bohannon coming off a tough night shooting in that loss that they had at home to Wisconsin. They need to get out of the gates early, Iowa. They tend to play better defensively when they're making buckets like that. And it's Bohannon right on cue.
And as a shooter, you love to see that first shot go right in the basket. I don't care how it gets there. And that's a key, because he was 3 or 4 feet from behind the three-point line, but that's a welcoming sign right now early on for Iowa.
They were 6 of 24 from beyond the arc in that loss at home to the Badgers. And by the way, Wisconsin is back. That team is in good shape now.
They're healthy.
They're healthy. With Trice back. Aline Ford now getting to play again. Shot clock down. Winston with a scoop. And the tap in. Credit it to Ward. I think they're going to wave it off. They're going to say he was inside the cylinder, so wave off the basket.
Well, we go back to that first play. A little pick and roll, and that time the communication wasn't here on the backside. He didn't come in. Guess what? You get beat by the alley-oop.
Garza, an inside-outside big, giving it back up to Moss, whose confidence has been shaky of late. Garza with a turnaround and a follow. +1, sneaking in there beautifully. Kriener and Wieskamp, 2 tough guys. This is Joe Wieskamp, the freshman.
Well, first of all, deep post position, excellent recognition by Garza to go to the baseline. That time, Aarons just got caught ball watching and wasn't able to get in front of Wieskamp right there, who has a chance at an old-fashioned three-point play.
First foul against Arns. And the lead is up to 4.
And I like the little pressure right here by Iowa. It's like 1-2-2 full court press. It's not meant really to steal the ball, but kind of take time off the clock and maybe get Michigan State a little razzled as they enter their half-court set.
Langford, who was dynamite in Las Vegas, particularly in the title game against Texas. Coins on the offensive boards.
Boy, this is something Doug Gottlieb talked about in the show early before we came on air, is will Iowa be able to compete on this tough, physical Michigan State team.
And there's Moss with a big-time answer. Isaiah, the redshirt junior from Chicago City. End-to-end and right back at you as Joshua Langford gets his first bucket, the junior from Huntsville, Alabama.
I think about this, both teams getting what they want. Iowa able to see the ball go in, especially from deep, and Michigan State able to get up and down in transition and in their secondary break.
A lot of concentration this week in practice by Tom Izzo in dealing with the load inside as you see the foul underneath. Ward taking it to the rack, but they're concentrating on Tyler Cook big time.
Well, how about Nick Ward getting that big body down the court? Talking about 245 pounds of meat and muscle getting down the court, able to get that ball inside.
59-year-old Fran McCaffrey in his 23rd year overall, his 9th season at Iowa. And it's a family affair. Now with his son Connor on the team. Now you see Ward is hurt. He's holding his hand, maybe his wrist. Tom Izzo looks a little concerned over there, but it looks like Ward's going to work this thing out.
Well,
try to get the free throw.
Well,
up.
Tim, you know the tendency. You're up in the air, you get hit. What's the first thing you do on your way down? You put your hands down.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and a lot of times with a big body like that, you absorb a lot of that weight on your hands.
He's worked a lot on his free throw shooting. They've struggled to some extent at the stripe. This was a young man that tested the NBA waters, came back and found out that his coach was telling him the truth. Or as Nick told the media, yeah, he told the NBA said the same thing my coach did, just the language was maybe less salty.
Yeah.
That's an offensive foul. It'll go the other way. And the Hall of Famer, 63 years of age, Tom Izzo, now in his 24th season. It didn't take long for Fran McCaffrey to get upset. He's letting Paul Zells know about it on the other end.
Well, he understands, too, Fran does, how important possessions are here in the Breslin Center. Is that you can't turn it over. You can't give up. You'd rather have a shot at the basket, you miss it, than to have a turnover.
Winston rejected. This Iowa team is much better defensively than the one a year ago. You'll notice that right away. And Tyler Cook has a lot to do with that on both the offensive and defensive boards. Solo here. That's the strong. I mean, he is a load to deal with.
Well, see a steal right here by Iowa.
Big time. Bohannon off the heel. Garza the long rebound. There's a pull-up by Moss. Iowa looks engaged early.
Well, the energy level is there. Look at the bounce in their step, especially from the defensive perspective. Now they're getting out. But I go back to Jordan Bohannon, the first shot, knocking down that deep three. That kind of gave the team a breath of relief a little bit. And from there on, they've just been operating at a high level.
That was a beautiful pass from Langford, wasn't it? Finding Xavier Tillman cutting to the basket. Garza's got all the moves and a great dish. Everything but the finish there. Bohannon short-armed that one a little. Well defended, though, as it usually is in the post against Michigan State. Langford off the dribble handle. Run down, last touched by Garza. Timeout. Iowa looking good early, but beautiful dime-dopping here. Just find your man. Tillman taking it to the rack.
Just give it your all, go to infinity. Together, my world is so much better. My world feels so much bigger. I love it when we go together. My world is so much better.
The Thanksgiving holiday, Michigan State trailed Texas by as many as 19 before pulling away in the second. Spartans beat the Longhorns in the championship of the Las Vegas Invitational 78-68. And Matt McQuaid came in late, but well, without question, Langford had a remarkable game. And not having him, and Izzo would tell you, his best defender is a huge factor tonight and throughout the rest of the month of December.
Well, it shortens up your rotation, too, in regards to who you play, minutes you play, different aspects of it. Also, it takes another shooter off the court, which spreads the court along with the defensive player. So that's the beauty of having a multi-dimensional player, but you hate when he's not on the court.
Yeah, Arns is going to get the lion's share of time, the redshirt junior, but also some freshmen are being forced to play.
And how about the 2-3 zone coming out of the timeout by Fran McCaffrey in Iowa to keep the ball out of the middle.
That's a staple of the Fran McCaffrey approach, always changing defenses. Goins, not there, comes off the front iron, run down by Bohanna.
And a positive defensive possession that time by Iowa, kind of slowing down the pick and roll opportunities that Michigan State has been successful with early on in this game.
You see Cook cannot find that lane that he loves to drive to the basket with Goins all over him there, just cutting him off. Shot clock at 5 for Bohanna. Got to go up. Shot clock violation, and that is right out of the scouting report right there.
Well, also you see Tillman on Cook, but he has help that shrinks the court. Aaron Henry, all the players on the perimeter have to shrink in a little bit more to not allow Tyler Cook to beat you off the dribble. Now, what helps Tyler is when his perimeter players are knocking down jump shots. Now you have to stay connected a little bit more. That may open up some space. So let's see if the perimeter players for Iowa can continue to be successful.
A little more room to work with when that's right. Floor is spread that way.
But also, too, when he's posting up. Now the entry pass into him is a lot clearer, not as much congestion. He can go one-on-one.
There's Langford. He loves it there. You got to get out on him and check him. Wieskamp was a little late, and he played the nylon song.
Well, that time the ball hopped around the perimeter for Michigan State. That allowed Langford to kind of get his feet set, get open before Bohanna could get there and contest.
Macy Daly just into the game, and that's going to be a foul on Winston beyond the arc. So that's 3 coming for Wieskamp. First on Cassius.
Cassius couldn't believe it, but we'll take a look and see if this is a touch foul right here as Wieskamp goes up, and right there is the foul.
Yeah, got him on the elbow.
Yeah. 3 shots. See, a lot of times, Timmy, that foul, because you're not in position on the pass, so now you're a half a second behind. If you're there a little bit earlier, now your hand is already up and you don't touch the elbow.
This young man, a swing player, finished his high school career as one of the state's leading scorers. Actually had 54 in one game and came to this program, did Wieskamp, ready to go.
We can tell he's long, he's athletic, he has a beautiful stroke from the perimeter. Again, making the adjustment to this level.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes players a little bit more time, but you know the skill set for what Wieskamp is there.
He's already second on the team in rebound. There's a foul on a beautiful drive by Winston.
Well, here's the intelligence I'm talking about with Cassius Winston. Right here, he's probing. No one stops the ball. So instead of picking up his dribble, see how spread out his players are. Now what's going to happen, this driving lane is going to open right up. If no one stops the ball, Cassius Winston can do this all night.
Yeah. Ryan Kriener picked up the foul. You know, a couple of players for Iowa are out. Cordell Pimsel is out for the year, having season-ending knee surgery, which was unfortunate. He's a really high basketball IQ player. And also without Jack Mengie. So this is not a rotation that's going to go 11 deep as it normally does with McCaffrey. It's more like 9 guys that will be on the floor.
Hey, Jimmy, if you got 9 good ones,
you're okay.
You're okay.
Kriener can't hit that one. Quick outlet from Tillman.
Kriener's a little physical with Nick Ward.
Is he ever? Fronting him and with some authority.
Well, I mean, you've got to play physical without fouling, and that's what he's doing. He's kind of knocking Nick Ward off his spot.
Well, they're going to force the officials to define a foul before long. There's a runner. Ward gets loose, and I think that's a little too much body from McCaffrey there, and he picks it up.
Well, I mean, this reminds you of the old Big Ten. Just physical play inside, both sides kind of trying to gained an advantage, and I love the officials didn't call a foul on either one right away. Right here at the end, it was a little bit more right there with the body. That was less physical. But that time, Nick Ward had the ball.
I think that was Fran's fault when he saw his son get whistled for the foul.
Yeah.
Krieger did more to get the foul than his kid did. Here's Ward. Beautiful dish from Winston. And we're tied at 15.
Cassius Winston, a little Kirk Cousins there, a little looked off the defender and zipped it right down to Ward underneath.
Iowa's gone cold. Here's Cook. Rejected by Ward, but count the basket.
But notice the space that Cook had to operate. Okay, quick move down low. Langford late on the reach.
Well, he loves to go to his left, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Cook?
he does. But it was the quick decision, and talking about quick decisions right there in the teeth of the zone on the backside. Cash is able to zip it in and get that assist.
There's that full court pressure again. Zone variety. Open again for Ward. Tied at 17. 7.5 gone by at Breslin. Ward trying to defend Cook. Nice job that time. Out of bounds with 10 to shoot.
Look, if Iowa's going to press, the ball has to stay up, and guys have to be attuned to get in place. But if they don't, what ends up happening, if the ball is moved quickly against the press and you're able to get behind them, now you're going to have a 2-on-1 opportunity on the backside. That's what we saw in that last basket.
Beautiful pass. And State went to sleep that time. Winston looking for Ward. He is trapped in a heartbeat. Stayed with it.
Well, how about the hands and how about the patience that time and footwork of Nick Ward, not traveling, taking his time and able to show off a little soft touch with his left hand.
8 field goals for Michigan State, Jimmy, and 6 of them in the paint. They are absolutely feasting down low. And off the high pick, foul goes against Michigan State.
Well, inside, Cassius went to sleep, but also Goins giving up an easy 2. But Michigan State kind of staying with it. You talked about big girth inside. How about the soft touch right there by Nick Ward?
If we throw it into TC, we can't stare at him. We can't have 4 guys opposite because they're going to come. All right? So if he's over there, make sure he has a receiver. Make sure somebody's stopping.
See, Tim, that's coaching. You know what I mean? Real simple. Dribble, give it to TC, get out the way, and let him go to work.
Yeah.
But seriously, he's like, listen, dribble with a purpose, force Michigan State to guard you, get it inside. Now he has more space to work with, which allow him now one-on-one coverage, and he can do what he does best.
They have always scored the ball at Iowa, and Fran McCaffrey's teams historically have had outstanding shooters. But what you can see now is they got a power game and some interior defense to go with it. Well, this group.
Yeah, they do. And it's surprising you talk about them shooting an excellent pass. And look at Tyler.
How about that? Garza on the boards as well, but it's taken away by Arms. And a cheap giveaway foul there by McCaffrey. That's number 2 on him, and that really hurts Iowa.
Well, that time Isaiah Moss dribbled with a purpose, and Tyler Cook went up with purpose on that. But you go back to what this Iowa team is doing now. Shooting 40% from the three-point line. They have shooters. Up to this point of the season, they've only been shooting at about 33%. Once that shooting percentage catches up, that's going to change the dynamics. You talking about already scoring a lot of points? Watch out.
Arms is checked back onto the floor. As we mentioned, getting the starting nod because of the loss of McQuaid, out for a 3rd straight game. Winston with the clock winding down. Beats Goins. That goes crying off the front iron. But on the follow, Ward is fouled.
Listen, one thing, Cassius Winston that time, taking 2 to 3 dribbles, allowed Nick Ward to dive to the basket. You know what that did? It took the interior defense down. Goins was able to flash up and be open, and Cassius hit him right away. But again, maintaining his dribble, opened that play up to Kenny Goins.
That foul against Garza. Luka Garza got into some early foul difficulty dealing with Ethan Happ against Wisconsin. He doesn't need that problem tonight in dealing with Ward.
Well, Michigan State has the benefit of having size in the players and bodies to get in there.
That's right.
If Moore gets in foul trouble, you don't have the same luxury if you're Iowa.
He walked. Tried to do a little too much that time.
KYG. Know your game.
Yep.
No, seriously. And a lot of times you get caught up in the moment. And that time, Garza, 1, 2, 3 dribbles, trying to get into the lane. And that time, shuffle the puppies a little bit more. Just know what you do well and do it to the best of your ability.
Hawkeyes now with a couple of consecutive turnovers. And we're locked at 19. Winston, beautiful feed to Tillman. I mean, it's unbelievable how they're threading the needle. 8 assists on 9 field goals for Michigan State. Moss running the curl is rejected by Tillman.
That's a beautiful move. Isaiah Moss down the middle. But Tillman right there brought the ball right to him. And again, Kansas with no turnovers the last game against Rutgers. When you do that, you take care of the basketball. You can get little layups. And again, the intelligence, you draw the defense, and then a nice little pocket pass inside the Tillman.
Foster Lawyer has come into the game now, replacing Winston. He's going to get a quick blow. And yet another turnover by Iowa, leading to a tie ball. Nice work defensively there to get the tie ball by Garza. Great start for Ward.
How about my man from the 6'4", Columbus, Ohio, Lincoln Gahanna, getting it done, showing a variety of different ways that he can score the ball on the post. A nice little jump hook, power moves. You're talking about a young man that has worked on his body. More importantly, he's worked on his mind and attitude to put himself in the right mind frame to be able to be effective, not only offensively, Tim, but defensively.
Bear is on the floor now for Iowa, number 51, to go along with Garza. There he is. That's Bear, 51. An explosion to the goal by Garza, but he can't get it to fall.
And how about Kim Gomes?
Oh, that's the one you don't want to commit. That's just a frustration foul, and that's 2.
Well, how about this? Tillman gets beat, but there's Goins right outside of the arch. That takes away the drive inside, and then don't complicate the situation by reaching in. You're talking about picking up a foul. You can't afford. If you're going to get a foul, get one when the bodies are banging down low.
That's right.
Not the other 94 feet on the other end. You're reaching, trying to get a steal.
Goins at the free throw line. Kenny, the senior from Troy, Michigan. All-state selection while in high school, his senior year.
A very good compliment when Tillman comes in, when Ward is on the post, because he clears up space. He can knock down that 15-foot jump shot. But he's also a really good passer from that high post as well.
He is. He's a glue guy, no question. And he is right now checking Cook, and that is big. Beautiful backdoor by Bohannon, and a wonderful delivery, too.
Well, it was a quick cut, the hard cut by Jordan Bohannon, and that time Isaiah Moss able to square up and zip that pass in.
Spartans by 1. Langford off the curl. Barnes tries to save it and does. Foster Lawyer almost dribbling into a double team. Brings it back outside.
Well, smart decision by both players not to force a shot.
Barnes leans in. Rebound taken down by Cook.
And Barnes missed Lawyer that time with a quick pass to that wide open shot on the perimeter. And both teams, Sim, just flat out trying to get it done. The hustle right here by Arns, tippy-toeing the baseline, able to keep the possession alive.
Tell you see the explosiveness in that last sequence before that foul was committed by Goins, his first. When Cook is in the open floor, he can put it on the deck and attack the rack. Moss off the inbound. It's not there. Pulled down by Tillman.
Well, Cook, you got to stop him early, because if you get that big body going downhill, I mean, forget about it.
Quick foul given up underneath. And again, this one will go against Iowa, against Greener.
Well, right here, see the impact, the movement right there. You know, and that's an easy call for the baseline official. You got to be slick, Tim. I mean, I've learned over the years that you can be physical and be slick and kind of bump your guy, because what you don't want to do is allow Ward to get deep post position. So you meet him early, you ride him. Got to be a little slicker with it.
This may be a preemptive move to see if it's an F1, which I don't think it is, but there's an emphasis on it to make absolutely certain. There's no question he was impeding his progress. While we look at that, let's take a look at the Associated Press top 10, and you'll see Michigan State right there, even with the second loss. The loss that they had to Louisville came, if you think about it, those are circumstances after they went to Vegas. Who's in and who's out? Even after Texas performed so well, of course, they lost a game that be knocked out, and then suddenly you see Furman, a team that's won big. How about Arizona State? What a story they've become.
And they're playing a little bit differently this year.
They are.
More physical inside, post players, not as many threes that they had last year. So give Bobby Hurley a little bit credit by not staying with the system he had before, but utilizing the players and their skill set that they have.
As we mentioned, it's a precautionary measure to look at the last foul.
And I think they're just see that hit right there with the elbow.
Right.
Unintentional. Again, they got to look at it anyway, but his arm came up and hit Nick Ward in the face.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, caused right there by the hook by Nick, and at the end he got hit.
We have seen early in this season precautionary measures to suggest that it might be an F1. But in this particular case, it'll be interesting to see if they go ahead and follow through with it.
Well, also, Fran probably want to look at the hook and hold.
Right.
Because that's new emphasis on the offensive player, that if you hook and hold, that could be that will be used as a flagrant one.
And Paul Sells indicated to us it was just a common foul.
Right. The hook and hold was my go-to move back when I knew a team was in the penalty. Oh, my defensive man didn't stand a chance, man.
Yeah. That's what I did at the end of dinner. It was a hook and lateral. Get out of there.
Well, you know, you hook and held onto your wallet. That's what you did.
Exactly. Case of alligator arms.
Yeah.
Ward already with 8 points, looking for his 9th. Very entertaining game so far. 24-21 Spartans. Camp giving it up to Baird.
Great job by Langford that time getting over the top of the screen.
Bohannon over Cassius. The iron unkind, and it's pulled down by Tillman. A pretty good look, though, for Bohannon. Arms on the wing. Wieskamp the rebound.
Yeah, great box out that time by Iowa, even though they were scrambling defensively.
Length of the floor. Wieskamp. How about that? He gets the rebound and then takes it the length of the floor.
Wieskamp taking it off the dribble. Able to get two in the basket. Iowa closing in on MSU.
For the very first time in 50 years, his team going to the Final Four. Congratulations to Damon Rinsing and his team. What a marvelous moment it is for them, and to be honored tonight during a timeout. Tim Brando, Jim Jackson, happy to have you with us. And Wieskamp will try to get the old-fashioned three-point play to tie this one up at 24. You know, it's interesting, when we had Texas and Michigan State in that championship game over the Thanksgiving holiday, they hit 12 trays in that game. Michigan State, they're only 1 of 5 tonight. All the damage being done inside after dimes are dropped.
Well, I mean, that's the benefit of having a multi-dimensional offense where you don't rely just on one aspect of it. By having a post player, you're able to stay in games and engage until that outside shot can go down for you. Great block that time.
Boy, Wieskamp, that is some freshman find right there.
But you know what? Wieskamp was in position when the ball was being swung to be there in order to contest the shot. A half a second late, guess what? Cassius Winston might splash that three-point shot.
Henry back on the floor, number 11 in white. In trouble, Ward again. He bails them out every time. And it doesn't matter if he's doubled or tripled. He's 4 for 4 from the floor.
Tim, good bailout. Plus, he used that right shoulder just a little bit to clear out Isaiah
Just
Moss.
a little.
Just a little.
As our friend Bill Raftery would say, a quality discard.
Exactly.
Here's Cook. Bear from the key. That's a beautiful find late, and patience from Cook.
Well, how about Bear finding the gap, knowing that Cassius Winston was taking away the drive and spin from Cook? Bear flashed right to the middle. Boston's man able to step up and knock that 15-foot shot.
Tell you, it helps to have a solid veteran guard, does it not, with all those changing defenses?
Well, it also helps to have a veteran post player right here. Watch this little nudge with the shoulder right there. Just clear enough space. And then Bear finding the opening gap because Nick Ward was spying on Cook to make sure he was in position to help, kind of fell asleep.
Ward.
Bohannon made that first big three, has been silenced somewhat since. Very little room along that perimeter to get shots off against Michigan State. Little two-man game going here between Wieskamp and Cook. Hurried that one a little, pulled down by Goins. Length of the floor. Oh, hammer time. Henry says, how do you do? Aaron Henry, the freshman from Indianapolis. Wieskamp, that's a tough shot. Ward the rebound. Quick outlet, Winston. Langford over Bohannon. Missed everything.
Good defense that time by Bohannon.
Bear hurries it up the floor. Out of bounds. Last touched by Ward.
Now, you see the end of this play, you see the dunk, but for my point guards out there watching now, Cassius Winston giving the ball up early, leading Henry to the basket, allowed him to get behind the defense and ultimately finish with a highlight play.
Buckets have been harder to come by for Iowa after a scintillating start. They were 5 of their first 8, 5 for their last 17 since.
Yeah, but you think about it, on the road, hostile environment, haven't shot it the last 4 or 5 minutes, but yet and still in striking distance, only down 3 points.
Well, their defense has been pretty good.
That's right.
Bohannon with time winding down on the clock. Great find. And the foul given up by Tillman.
Mark calls us 23.
It's a real good dribble drive and quality bounce pass entry, and forced the foul from Tillman. That will get Tyler Cook, the junior from St. Louis. Chaminade prep to the free throw line.
Well, that's why coaches say we don't want to get beaten by dribble penetration, because once Bohannon was able to get deep down inside, you had to help off of Cook a little bit, and that allowed the pass to be open.
3 things you need to know about Tyler Cook. Well, who wouldn't like Queen Latifah? He doesn't like onions. We got to talk to Raftery about
Raph
that.
wouldn't like that.
And a lesson from Dad. Well, that's a good one. Hold on to your cash.
Yeah, I see you got that one too. Yeah. Timmy B, you got that one early in life,
I'm a real
buddy.
spendthrift.
We all what?
Yeah.
Listen, on the way back to the airport tonight, we're gonna stop at a, mini mart or something to make you buy some snacks.
Yeah,
for the
why
trip.
not? I'm good for some potato chips.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, you know that. Tillman in traffic. Not there. And a foul underneath. A hold. That one will go against Iowa.
Well, that time both Tillman and Grimes were deep underneath the basket, and Grimes able to catch, pull in, and negotiate that foul.
Riley Till picks it up. Young man from Iowa. His sister Claire played some basketball at Iowa. That's the 10th team foul. committed by the Hawkeyes. They have been very physical. A couple of early fouls, though. Garza gets a cheap one, and sort of a wrong place, wrong time situation for the coach's son, Connor McCaffrey, and he's been sitting for quite some time since. Only down by 4, though, with 4 and change remaining in the opening half. Cook got blown by. Cut off at the pass by Tillman along the baseline. Winston pumps. Timeout, Iowa. Here comes Breslin.
I love this shot in transition. Cassius Winston loves it too. Give me some more, baby. Give me some more.
Hey! Either team now, 33-26, Michigan State. And here's some surprises. Michigan, of course, that big win against North Carolina. Arizona State, as we mentioned a moment ago, cracking the top 25. And look, we saw North Carolina. They'll likely be okay, but Roy Williams really upset with the way his team performed really in every phase at Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe White is going to be a heck of a player there, but the inconsistency is what Dean Smith is talking about. And when are we finally going to stop being surprised about how great of a coach John Beilein is?
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, really? I mean, he's shown it time and time again.
Think about the way they looked at the beginning of last year and the way they evolved by the end.
Yep.
Says all you need to know. There's a strong move, only this time being forced to go to his right. And trust me, that's the scouting report. Job well done by Xavier Tillman.
Well, it is. Again, the lane's closing down a little bit more, takes away the space. When you got that big body like that, it's tough to squeeze in between the defense. And that time, Michigan State doing a really good job of shrinking the court.
Difference in the game in a lot of respects, turnovers. Michigan State has none in the last 12 minutes. They have really protected the ball. This guy really responsible for that, Winston.
Well, when your pilot is making the right decisions, everybody else kind of falls in line.
Opening here as the Spartans on a run. Tillman gets that bucket. And the lead is up to 9. 12 assists and just 2 turnovers for the night for the Spartans. Very important here that Iowa respond prior to the half. Bohannon, nice move.
Well, and I like the aggressive move that time. Being able, in Jordan, to take that and keep that in his mind, catching the ball on the move now allows him a half a step in front of his defender. He can get to the basket.
Well, that ended a 7-0 run. Tillman in trouble. On a switch, he was able to take advantage of a mismatch.
Yeah, but another point, 2 points scored in the paint by Michigan State.
Tillman a little too aggressive with Cook, commits the foul.
Well, the deep post position, I think there's Wieskamp right there.
Fouls on 23, Tillman.
You just can't allow Tillman Ward to get that deep, but then it's one-on-one, and the bodies and the size just override what you're able to do and able to score inside.
Well, you see Tillman, after getting the second, takes a seat, and Nick Ward is back on the floor. So that means Henry, Langford, Goins, Cassius Winston, and Ward are the 5 on the deck for Michigan State. Wieskamp is back out there along with Moss, Bohannon, Ryan Kriener, 15 for Iowa. Langford! And Ward at the back. That's one he'd rather not have picked up prior to the half.
Well, he was already had in his mind that he was going to crash the offensive glass right here. And sometimes it's hard to pull back after that effort is there. But I think it was the reach at the end. It wasn't the contact here. It's a reach now right there. They got the foul picked up.
Well, it's just his first, but it was a cheap one. And you know he's going to be, particularly in dealing with Cook, you're going to pick up some fouls in the second half.
Well, but it also gives Iowa a chance to get to the free throw line. You talked about them struggling offensively. A lot of times what you want to do if you're a team in that situation is figure out ways to use the penalty, the bonus, to get yourself back in the game.
Only 1-2 at the stripe, and it's an 8-point game. Iowa, either 14 or 15, depending upon what poll you look at. Michigan State, number 10. These are 2 top-tier teams in the Big Ten. And with 20 games scheduled, They're playing a couple of games, everyone, in the month of December. You don't want to get out of the gates 0-2 in the league. Ward in traffic.
I mean, it's hard to hide a big body like that on the baseline, but Ward does an excellent job of staying and keeping his distance so the guards from Michigan State can penetrate it. Then at the last moment, when the pass is distributed, he's able to catch and finish.
He is 5 of 5 from the floor, 13 points and 4 rebounds, Nick Ward.
Now watch Nick Ward play a little peekaboo right here on the baseline. Give space, okay. But knowing awareness of where you're at on the court, not stepping out of bounds, okay, allowing the ball to come to you. Plus, he doesn't bury himself under the rim, so when he catches, he's able to finish.
Isaiah Moss at the free throw line. Well, this game has been Ward so far. And to your point, it shows how versatile this Michigan State team can be. When these two teams last played at Carver Hawkeye last year, it took 96 points. I mean, it was a track meet, 96-93. This is much more a Tom Izzo type of tempo. But to Iowa's credit, they are a much improved defensive team and have managed to hang tough.
Well, again, the free throw line has been the friend of Iowa. They've been out shooting their opponents in makes and free throw attempts. And that's how you get yourself back in the game.
They get there 33 times a game. That's best in the Big Ten.
But that's just intelligence and understanding time is going on.
He is just a scoring machine down there. 6 of 6 now for Ward. They're going to find a way to deal with him. It's now 41-31. Would have counted had it gone. He'll get to the free throw line yet again.
Well, points in the paint has been the friend of Michigan State. It's not typical post-ups. His dribble drives, his dunks in transition, got good deep post position. But at the end of the day, it's making the right play, getting yourself anchored inside, and using those big physical bodies to score the ball.
Well, 26 points in the paint for Michigan State. I mean, think about 16 field goals made, 13 of them in the paint in the first half for the Spartans.
Well, give credit to this for Michigan State. When you're scoring like that, you got a tendency to get away from it.
Yeah.
Because you want to jack up a three and get on the perimeter. How about Michigan State just staying with the formula that's working and saying, okay, we're going to pound you to death. Once you start to help, that's when it'll open it up for you to get outside opportunity.
Now that foul on Ward, and we talked about the cheat when he just got a moment ago.
Yeah.
On the offensive end, now he does get his second before the intermission.
Well, that was a cheap reach foul that he got right there in the second
It
foul.
was. Yep. Those will really come back and haunt you in the last 5 minutes of a conference game. Clock winding down on Winston. And he does get fouled.
How about Winston calling off the pick and roll, knowing that he could beat Jordan Bohannon, and that time Jordan Bohannon dropped his right foot a little bit too much. That opened up that left-hand driving lane, and the backside of the defense just slow to rotate.
That's number 2 on Dean. By the way, Thomas Kithier forced into duty, the freshman from Clarkston, Michigan, after that foul by Ward. And here are the 3 things you need to know about Cassius Winston. His favorite saying, chance make champions. I love that. Who wouldn't want to meet Oprah? I'm guessing, right, it would be the chicken sub, right?
Chicken or roasted turkey. Come on. Roasted turkey, veggies.
Cook dumping it down, and there's a reach against Kithier. Tell you, the reason Iowa gets to the free throw line is they attack. They're not settling for three-point shots in transition as we've seen in the past.
Well, they post up physical, too. So that time, that forces the defense to be a little bit more aggressive. But that time, by Cook being outside.
Look, that was a tough loss for them. at home to open the season, but it's a long season. What they did in New York, I think, got the attention of a lot of people. Wins over Oregon, Pitt, and
UConn.
There's no question. You think the UConn victory was very important. So over time, they're going to get theirs, particularly when they get back to Carver Hawkeye. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far tonight.
Well, you would love to be able to make up that home loss with a key road victory.
Yes.
Because that's one thing. The good teams in this league are going to be able to go on the road and win in environments like this. And then you have to take care of your home court.
Winston working on Bohannon, gives it up to Goins. Now on the switch, Goins has got Bohannon, but Winston can't get it to him. There's the out. Not there. Kithier, the offensive rebound. To a wide open Winston who could not launch. And a quick timeout taken. Boy, he wanted to put that one up.
He wanted to put it up.
Well, we touch on Tom Izzo, and his career got started at Ishpeming High in the Upper Peninsula. I still think he was a player coach looking at that.
Can you say that 3 times fast?
And he led the Hematites to the 78 district title, and his wife Lupe turned 29 yesterday. Yeah.
Yes, she did.
I think, yeah. And
See, hydrate, water.
And if it happens to be the anniversary of her 29th, that's fine.
That's right. Listen,
Whatever she wants.
for you right there, the key is hydration. So
Yes.
remember that. Hydration, water.
And moderation. Hydration and moderation.
And Tito water. For all those at home listening, Tim's favorite is Tito water.
Yeah. Is there a Tito in your family, by the way?
Yeah,
There is a Tito Jackson that's noteworthy.
Oh, yeah.
There's another one in
He's my
yours, too.
cousin on the other side.
All right, let's see what they draw up for the final play of the half. No turnovers in the last 16 and a half minutes. Kithier. Nice work defensively by Iowa. They get the stop they needed to hold it at 10. Really entertaining first half. Michigan State's Nick Ward, the story. They lead by 10. We will send you to Mike Hill in Los Angeles. Right after this, you're watching College Hoops and the Big Ten tonight on FS1. Got that holiday feeling?
I do, baby.
Get them all around. We got babies at home. We got grandbabies at home enjoying the holidays and a fantastic Big Ten basketball game with Jimmy Jackson, Tim Brando. Talk about perfection. Nick Ward inside and Cassius Winston outside. They've been dynamic.
Well, they have, and as a guard that love to shoot the ball,
Yeah.
I'd love to have a big man that can post up inside because it made my job a lot easier. And Nick Ward, the progression offensively that he's made is understanding positioning on the court, getting deeper inside. Now, you don't have to work as hard once you get the ball. So great job of him posting up deep, but also from his guards getting him the ball.
And by the way, 8 of those 15 assists that you see for the Spartans belong to Cassius Winston, who has no turnovers to go with it. And only 2 in the game. And you got to give Iowa some credit for hanging in there despite getting really nothing done inside from Luka Garza and Tyler Cook.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, Michigan State is shrinking the court and saying, if you're going to beat us from the perimeter, fine. We're going to contest, but we're not going to allow Tyler Cook and Garza to kind of have their way inside. And plus, think about this. You don't have to help as much because you have the big body of Ward. You have Tillman that can play. So they're physical enough to play one-on-one basketball.
To your point, Jim, you made the statement that Cook can get a lot more done if some perimeter shots are being taken. Should Iowa look for those perimeter shots earlier in sequences as we start the second?
Well, the ball can't stick like Fran McCaffrey talked about with Wisconsin. If he moves the ball quickly, that's going to open up perimeter shots and ultimately loosen it up, I think, for Cook and Garza inside.
Langford
gets it turned up, they're almost unstoppable. He had that amazing game against Texas, and they kicked in on all cylinders. Came from 19 down to win the Las Vegas Invitational. That was the 9th assist, by the way, for Winston. Cook.
Great defense that time by Goins.
And nothing coming easily for Cook. He gives it up to Garza this time. Tough shot, goes crying off the front iron.
Boy, that time Garza, multiple moves in a small space, and Nick Ward doing a great job of just contesting the shot straight up.
Looks like they're going to get Garza with his third.
Dribble penetration, you help, Langford relocates, puppy set, stroke, splash.
Garza, that's his third.
Then inside again, Nick Ward sealing on that hit, asking for the ball in the right hand.
The second consecutive game now that Luka Garza has been really reduced to a non-factor by a big on the opposition. Ethan Happ, in deference, was also in some foul difficulty in that same game between Wisconsin and Iowa the other day. Langford to pull up off the heel. Arns the rebound. Winston. Well, Arns playing a little like McQuaid, isn't he? And he got banged up a little bit late in the half. Did not get back in, but he's okay and making a difference out there. Cook was not ready for that bounce pass from Moss. The lead up to 15. Just like that, Michigan State taking control. Ward with the rebound and a foul.
Coaches have talked to his team about doing what you do well and doing it to your best ability. And Orange right there using that physical ability to get the rebound. And then right off the pass, smartly catches Winston, attacks a defense from Iowa that wasn't quite set yet.
Was my friend Gus Johnson say that Cassius is the second best player from Jesuit?
Yeah, exactly. I wonder who was the first. It wasn't him. I don't care what Gus says.
You better send me some swag after that.
Give him a little plug.
Yeah, got to take care of your colleagues. Inside again.
Here's the difference. Early in the game, the ball wasn't being able to be entered as easily from Michigan State. I was doing a great job of it. Now another turnover.
Yeah, Bohannon just gift wrapped that one for Ward. And that's a giveaway foul. He is 7 for 7 from the floor.
Well, watch the ball movement into Kenny Goins right there. Nick Ward flash again. Look how easy the passes are without any resistance. And now when Nick gets open or Goins gets open inside, you can't recover because the passes are made too easily.
That's his first and the team's third.
Well, the entire front line for Iowa is in some foul difficulty now. Bear just got his third. Garza's already sitting with 3. And they find themselves just a couple of minutes deep into the second half, down by 17, after being very competitive in the first 20 minutes for the most part.
Man, they're looking at this foul right here, I guess, to see if it's intentional. But keep in mind, the best help that a post player can get is from his perimeter players. By putting a lot of pressure, see another look here on this foul. By applying pressure on the ball and not allowing that ball to be zipped in. If it's looped, now you got time to recover. So they're going to need some help from the perimeter players, the post players for Iowa, not to allow the ball to move so easily.
That was a common foul, so no flagrant one. Ward will get to the free throw line. This is just amazing. Michigan State now with 18 total assists and 2 turnovers. And as troubled as Fran McCaffrey looks there with his able assistant Sherman Dillard by his side and Kirk Spiro, they've actually played fairly well. It just got nothing inside, and you have to get that done. And here are 3 things you need to know about Nick Ward. I love the nickname Big Dog, and he eats gummy bears.
That's my favorite.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
gummy bears all day. That is my weakness right there. And they have to be hairable.
You know what? That's a Lavin sugar moment.
That's right.
A lot of sugar in those babies.
Listen, but I'll sacrifice sugar, but they have to be hairable.
Okay.
I'm real specific.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a Christmas gift you get to me.
Foo-foo gummy bears.
Yeah, I'm high end, baby. I'm high end. And don't make me get the chocolate gummy bears, okay?
Greener can't get that one to go. And here comes Cassius Winston, who's just been perfection in the backcourt. 9 dimes, no turns. A 7-0 start for Sparty here in the second half. Shot clock down to 5. Langford gonna have to solo here. Gives it up late for Goins. Halfway down the cylinder and out. Cook, now that's downhill. That's 2 dunks he's missed. Bohannon for 3. That is 2 slam dunks that Cook has missed at point-blank range tonight.
Well, I mean, geez, the violent way in which he tried to dunk it, I see why.
And Goins with an answer. And a foul to go with it.
Looks like it might be an offensive foul
Could
on
be.
Nick Ward.
I think they're going to count it.
Well, here it is inside a little bowling pass out to Goins, and Nick Ward just...
His third.
Basket does count, as we mentioned, but the foul does go against Ward, his 3rd.
Yeah, you'll see Ward get those fouls early in his career, the frustration kind of fouls. He's tempered that a lot, but again, Tom Izzo talking to him, you're more valuable to me on the court than me sitting here giving you a lecture about how to control the temper a little bit.
Bohannon pumps it. He's got such a sweet stroke. There's been very few times he's gotten that much room to work with. Langford going reversal and draws the foul.
Again, simple ball reversal. If you make a quick decision, you get your shooters in a position where they can step up, square the shoulders, and let it go.
Foul goes against Wieskamp. And 2 at the free throw line now for Langford. Three things you'd love to know about Joshua.
30.
Poetry, like that. And
Intelligent.
every time I step on the court is my biggest sports thrill. See, that's living in the moment. I love that. Not worried about the next big thing, just enjoy the moment.
And that says a lot, too, for a young kid in college, young man in college, to not think ahead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's wise beyond his years.
Well, you better be if you're going to play for Izzo. Well, 4 minutes gone by here in the second. The lead is ballooned to 18. Well, they finally got McCaffrey back on the floor. He had 2 early fouls. That ball is out of bounds. It will be controlled to Iowa. Well, Michigan State will have it when we come back.
Who's got enough guts to win this thing?
Jimmy, what you got?
Well, we talked earlier about surprises in the pregame show, and it was on the Big Ten, but mine is Michigan. We talk so much about Beeline being great offensive player, but look at these numbers. Defensively, this is where they make their mark. First, second, first, and all 4 major categories on the defensive end. That shows the versatility of Coach Beeline and what he has with his team and why they've been so successful up to this point.
And I think to your point, the depth of the Big Ten is what you notice first and foremost. I don't know that we can say that anyone is appearing dominant at this stage, but if you're talking about depth of power within a conference in college hoops, right now the Big Ten seems to be that league.
Well, you know that you're going to be tested each and every time you play. And how about Cassius Winston up in the air to the pass that Goins inside. And I'm just so impressed with the mental display that we're seeing from Cassius Winston right here by not overpassing, but making the correct pass at the right time.
And the team second.
That was a foul on Goins, his second. Jimmy, it was a 1-point game with 6:10 to play in the half. Since that time, it's a 30-11 Michigan State run. The game got away late in the first half, and the turnovers have continued for Iowa to open the second.
Man, that's one thing you can't do against this Michigan State team, especially here on the road, is give up the ball. They will take advantage of it either through a fast break opportunity here when they get in their half-court set.
Ward's 14 points in the paint. Iowa as a team has 14 in the paint. He has been a wrecking crew. Goins not there. Henry kept it alive. Was able to get it deflected off of McCaffrey. So the ball stays down at this end for Michigan State. Wieskamp enters the game for Elijah Moss.
Well, here's the thing, Tim. Keep in mind, when you play a physical brand of basketball on the offensive end and defensive end, that tends to wear your opponent down.
Yeah.
And we saw Iowa at the beginning with a lot of pep in their step, but as the half went on, that kind of dissipated a little bit.
Shots stopped falling, too.
That's right. Now, You see the result of that in Michigan State, really able to open up this lead to 20. The zone defense that time by Fran McCaffrey paid off.
Isaiah Moss sitting down now with McCaffrey back on the floor. Wieskamp, Cook, Bohannon, and Kriener, the 5 on the deck. Just every time they take it now into the painted area, Michigan State wreaks havoc. Luka Garza will come in on the next dead ball for Iowa. And Joshua Langford at the scores table for Michigan State. Ooh, nice defensive work there by Kriener. Loose on the deck, and I think we may have gotten just out of bounds off of Michigan State.
As you know, when Michigan State has really made deep runs in the tournament, national championship game, Final Four, it's been about point guard play. Point guard play has been smart, intelligent, assertive, a leader on the court, taking care of the basketball. And right now, Kansas Winston, 11 assists, 1 turnover, ties his season high. When he plays like this makes this Michigan State team so tough to have to guard.
Now you see Kriener sitting down. He's a little dinged up. Michigan State now with a couple of straight turnovers after none over a 21-minute period. We can certainly make the case Iowa has played hard, if not well. They need something from Garza and Cook, and they've gotten nothing from them. McCaffrey under duress. That's an air ball, but a bailout foul committed by Aaron Henry.
Yeah, but that's excellent hustle that time by Wieskamp. Instead of staying married to the corner, he went after the offensive rebound, able to retain the possession for the Hawkeyes.
Second foul on Henry. And we really have not seen the best at all from Connor McCaffrey either. This is a young man, a southpaw's like a coach on the floor.
Really?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. And his brother Patrick, of course, will be joining the team soon. 4-star or 5-star talent coming out of high school. And it's a young man that, in a lot of ways, just got 2 quick fouls and was negated. Absolutely negated from the game. Wieskamp for 3. Not there. Garza rejected. Ward again.
You know, the thing about, you see this block here. The one thing that, you know, here at Michigan State that Coach Izzo and this coaching staff really, I think, they do well. They empower their team to challenge each other. Players challenge each other. And when you have that buy-in, you're connected, especially when it comes to late game situations. So we're seeing a lot of that this evening from this Michigan State team.
Bohannon running the curl, could not get the 3 to go. Well-designed play, but could not get the finish. Out of bounds, though, off the Spartans, so Iowa will keep it on this end of the floor.
Yeah, Iowa kind of searching offensively what will work, trying to figure out creative ways to get Cook into some isolation situations so he could get himself going.
Well, I tell you what, the job done by Ward. There's the getaway foul on an overplay. Tom Izzo disagrees mightily with Paul Sales on that one.
Well, you love the effort right here by Nick Ward by reaching out, and right there, he just happens to be in a pretty good defensive play by reaching out, but that time Bohannon comes and runs it right into the back of him, so that caused the contact.
But to the credit of Xavier Tillman and Goins, it hasn't mattered really whether Ward was in there or not. They have just taken Garza and Cook away from Iowa. That one is rejected. That's the 6th block for Michigan State. Human floor burns, every one of them.
Well, how about the hustle? Here's Tillman now taking away the baseline. Okay, Bohannon, no, all right. But then at the end of the play, he runs out and he dives for the ball. See, that's that multiple effort coaches always talk about. Don't give me 1, give me 2, give me 3, multiple efforts on the defensive end.
And the shot clock all the way down to 6, so whatever they're going to come up with, it'll have to be quick. 8 missed layups, 2 missed dunks for Iowa, and a lot of blocks. Bohannon, really tough shot. McCaffrey the rebound. Out of bounds, last touch by Michigan State. Well, it seems like we've had the ball down on this end forever, but But Iowa's still unable to get anything done down low.
Well, Iowa not giving up. They're still fighting. Multiple offensive rebounds gives your offense a chance to reset and get another good look at trying to knock in a basket.
0 for 5 on this trip down the floor. Iowa. Wieskamp. Oh, boy, just in tough luck there. Off of the heel. That was a big-time board. Scoop to the hoop. And they are kicking in on all cylinders now. That was just hoisted up too quickly by Garza. Langford with the dump down to Tillman. Winston wide open. Pulled down by Cook. Iowa is 0 for their last 9 from the floor. 6 of them in one sequence. McCaffrey can't connect. Luka Garza foul.
Well, Michigan State known to get the ball up quickly. Langford don't stop the dribble. Garza, you're in good space, but up under and the finish. You know, this Michigan State team, I'm telling you, when they get out and go, you know, it's funny, talking to Mike Garland, they said, we talk about the low turnovers right now for Michigan State, okay, in this game 4.
Yeah.
He said, when we play faster, we turn it over less. That's an oxymoron, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah.
Usually when a team plays fast, they turn it over more, but it's opposite for this Michigan State team.
Well, to go to your point, if you can't get Cook and Garza going and your perimeter jumpers aren't falling, and they aren't and haven't been really for the last 25 minutes of this game, you're in deep, deep trouble.
Well, you find yourself down 22 points. And you think about it. By not being able to score if you're Iowa, it seems like they're squeezing it. Even when Wieskamp spent and went to the basket, it was almost, let me get it in.
Yeah. Stress.
The jump shot is not as fluid because you're just trying to guide it in the rim because it's been there so few times in the second half that you're not as relaxed as you once were.
And you know what, Joe Wieskamp, he's played probably the best game of any Hawkeye to this point.
Yeah.
We're down to 28% now. 1 of 16, Jimmy, in this half from the floor. Taylor, he's fouled. And will go against Cook. Timeout. All Michigan State at Breslin. Really hope Joe Wieskamp is okay after this injury. Just a moment ago, friendly fire from Cook. Looked to be the ankle as they were taking him off the floor. And we mentioned a moment ago, Patrick McCaffrey, the younger brother of Connor, a 6'8" star at West Senior High School in Iowa City, already committed to playing for his dad at Iowa next year. Remarkable talent, a young man that went through so much, battling cancer and chemotherapy not that long ago. And now he's taken Iowa high school basketball by storm. And the relationship between the two, McCaffrey, the older, a little bit like his dad, introspective. Patrick, a little bit more emotional and free-flowing in his approach to the game. And the love affair that they have as a family, going back to his wife, Margaret, who was an outstanding basketball player herself at Notre Dame. You see that tattoo, what it says: to beat cancer, you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live. And those quotes coming from the late Stuart Scott, who was a dear friend of yours and mine, noted ESPN anchor. And I think that's something that's on the left arm of Connor, on the right arm of Patrick, forever connected. And their 12-year-old youngest brother is also going to be a player one day, already 6 feet tall.
Yeah, he was at shoot around today, and I kept trying to knock the ball away from him. I said, listen, man, you got to work on your peripheral vision. You got to see me coming early. And he started laughing.
It's a family experience.
Family affair for real, man.
Indeed. There's Goins on the wing. Oh, the iron. Kind to Goins. 62-36.
Wow, the decision-making on the offensive end by Michigan State in this game has been the best I've seen in quite some time. Passes on time, on target, and as a shooter, you can just catch and just let it go.
Moss. And Isaiah just unable to get the shoulder square, and a foul underneath. And Fran McCaffrey got the picture to us. Here you see Patrick, and the younger son is Jack. He's the youngest, and the daughter Merritt. I mentioned Margaret. They met while he was assistant coach for Digger Phelps at Notre Dame. And she was an outstanding player and probably would beat him at horse even today.
What, fiery? You're talking about
very fiery,
those two emotional beings, those two are friend and his wife. I mean, that's why the sons have certain attributes, of course, from both.
Right.
But my goodness, I mean, I met his wife a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it. I get it.
Length up the floor. Tillman and Langford dropping the dime. Garza just rushing and stressed with every move he makes offensively.
Yeah, rare one-on-one opportunity inside, and that time Garza just not as comfortable making and finishing that move around the basket.
And now for the last 14. Look at that. Cook with the foul. Tillman will get to the stride.
I tell you, when you're playing basketball like this, Tim, and this is nothing taken away from Iowa, but Michigan State right now are operating on all cylinders. It's fun to play because everybody's contributing. The ball is moving. You know when you post up or when you're open on the perimeter, you're going to get it. And hence, that makes you play harder on the other end of the court.
And they dig in on you. And listen, Iowa's played hard, but they have not shot it well. And because of the defensive clamps that Michigan State will put on you, then it gets in between your ears. Now, all of a sudden, even when you're in a one-on-one situation, you can't deliver.
Well, here's the thing. On the road, your best players have to show up. And this is going on the third game. Coming into this game, Isaiah Moss, last 2 games are 6 points, 1 of 8.
Yeah.
If your best players can't show up, it doesn't give you the opportunity to really compete at a high level like you want against a Michigan State team.
Now, this next 10-11, this is about heart for Iowa. And the next game, Luka Garza fouled that time by Tillman. This extended run going back to that point where they were down by only 1 with about 6 minutes left in the break. It's now a 40-11 run.
Well, when you got Garza, Moss, and Cook combined for 12 points,
you're in trouble. Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. Last year at Illinois, I saw him put on an absolute show. I mean, the skill set for him offensively is tremendous. And I think, again, going back to Connor McCaffrey's early second foul, that hurt Iowa, too, in that point in which the game kind of got away from them. He had to sit with those 2 early fouls. First points in 6 minutes and 8 seconds for the Hawkeyes. How many times as a player, Jim, when you were up by this margin, did you know the coach was really going to be on your case the rest of the way?
Oh, you knew.
When you have a lead this large, you can never really satisfy your head.
Well, you can't, but here's the thing about a mature team. You understand that you're playing for something bigger, just like Iowa is right now. So you have to continue to execute because any slippage allows a team to get back in and gain momentum, and that's something sometimes you can't get back.
Little high-low game to Ward. It's not often you get to say this, but we do tonight. 24 assists on 25 field goals. And finally, a 3-point shot falls for Isaiah Moss, and he's fouled by Arns.
And that's a shot right there for Moss that he can make. And maybe as the game continues to go on, again, still got 9 minutes and 39 seconds left. Iowa's going to play hard. You put a couple hoops together, a couple stops together, get yourself back in the game. Nothing is impossible. It is a tough mountain to climb, but you still have to go out of here and compete, and that's something we're still seeing from this Iowa team. You just got to get, it has to start here at the defensive end.
Winston operating the point. He's already got 11 assists on the night. Tying a season high for him. And a whistle. Look at what they've done tonight compared to the season. I mean, they've just been dominant in every way imaginable. You think about 14 turnovers averaged, and you're right. When Michigan State has sputtered, even in the last couple of years, it's been with turnovers.
Well,
They've eliminated that tonight.
This game is the result of before the Rutgers game when Coach Izzo and the coaching staff really had a deep talk, a conversation, challenged the team to be better. So in 2 consecutive, and that's what you want, okay? Do we see it one game? Okay, we see it one game on the road. What about when we come back home where it's more of a relaxed climate? Are we still as dialed in and focused as we were before? And guess what? Up to this point right now, the answer is emphatically yes.
Garza working in on Ward again. Now, he stayed with it that time. Didn't go down, but he stayed with it. And I believe the foul was spotted on Garza. Or was it Tyler Cook?
Yeah,
it was Cook that got the foul. I beg your pardon. So Tyler is whistled for the foul, and we'll go to the other end for free throws for Goins.
Goins on the line for Michigan State.
I like the idea that Garza stayed with it, though. Even though he didn't get the first one to go, he challenged the 10 again.
No matter the outcome of this game, particularly in Iowa's case, it's one game, okay? You learn from it, you grow from it, you understand what you did wrong. Look at the opportunities when you watch tape, but okay, well, I missed that moment. I missed this opportunity right here. Could have done better here. And you grow from it. But the key is that you keep playing hard until you're subbed out.
Look at that overplay by Goins.
Yeah, but it's a soft pass that time by McCaffrey by floating it in the air, unlike Michigan State, who's zipping the ball in. Now that gave Goins a chance to knock it away from the backside.
He's quietly gone about his business, hasn't he? Ward, a little more emphasis whenever he gets it. Goins, by the way, 17 points, 13 rebounds himself.
And some very good interior passing by Goins. You see a nice little shot right there by Moss.
3 points by Zay on Moss.
Goins gets 3 more assists. He'll have a triple-double. He's got 7 dishes to go with it. And another foul spotted inside. And it goes against Cook.
His fourth.
And that's number 4 on Tyler Cook. He's not having a good night tonight, Jim, but I think he's one of the real difference makers for this Iowa team over the long haul. He brings a physicality to them
that you don't see. Well,
That's right.
physicality and athleticism. And athleticism. A rare combination with a soft touch inside. It's just when you play against Michigan State, it's different. It's like the old school Purdue team. The Shefflin when I played, guys like that just could just guard you one-on-one, didn't need a lot of help. So that kept guys at home. So that took away from a lot of the options within the offense, because normally and generally you're used to teams double teaming.
Right. Marcus Bingham, by the way, checked in for Goins. First we've seen him tonight. He got a lot of playing time in Vegas. He's got a real good perimeter game, sort of a stretch 4 look. As you see Cook get one to go at long last for Iowa.
Well, you see the soft touch that time. Big, powerful player, but right there was able to use a nice little soft touch off the glass.
He is offensively gifted, number 30 in white. I think he could maybe turn into a Jaren Jackson type before it's all said and done. But Langford, sleight of hand, everything but the finish, pulled down by Garza. Now Garza didn't even want to look at a shot there. Now he does. Nice pass inside to Cook.
Well, the recognition that time that Cassius Winston couldn't get off of Cook. Instead of forcing up a shot, swung it around and finally got the ball inside. He was able to finish.
Just 9 in the game for Tyler Cook and a timeout. Michigan State. Spartans really looking strong tonight. Son, 70 and 73. Pre-Judd Heathcote were a father-son duo. And speaking of the legendary Tom Izzo, his son Steve is a senior in high school here and is looking to walk on next season. And if he does, That would be another father-son duo. And if he doesn't happen to have the opportunity to walk on, he will be a team manager. First thing you got to do is get in.
Well, listen, if he needs some help, I'm really close with the coaching staff. I probably can pull a few strings and talk to some people.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I love working with people who know people.
Yeah. Listen, I told my son when he was younger, listen, bro, you're only as good and smart and going to be as successful as your Rolodex. So you better have a deep one. And he looked at me and said, what's a Rolodex?
Yeah. I've got some old ones in my office collecting lint.
I said contacts, bro. Contacts. Oh, did I tell my age? My goodness.
Yes, you did. Winston, who's been just almost perfect tonight. He's not committed to turnover as yet. Moss is beginning to get a little. He's beginning to get a little bit of confidence as Garza is fouled by Henry. Oh, did Winston actually commit a turnover? He's won tonight, huh? How about that?
There's a timeout on the floor.
I'm shopping for my wife. She's obsessed.
56 to 48 our score here at the Breslin Center. Tim Brando, Jim Jackson. In a game that was so competitive early, and then with 6 minutes remaining in the first half, Iowa went cold. They had foul difficulty with both of their bigs, as well as Connor McCaffrey, and really just Michigan State. This is one of those nights when it really wouldn't matter who the opposition is. They're just playing too well in every area of the game to be beat.
Well, one, Michigan State taking care of the basketball. Two, shot selection.
Yeah.
Three, the ability to use the paint as an ally. So you're not shooting long shots, giving Iowa a chance to get back. And four, defensively, they took away the primary scores and asset for Iowa. Tyler Cook, not a lot of open space. Garza, not a lot of open space. And not allowing Isaiah Moss to kind of get into rhythm in that first half.
And I got to tell you, Jim, I've known Tom Izzo for, gosh, almost 30 years. And the way his team prepares and the way they scout, we've mentioned football and his love of football many times over, his friend Mariucci and all that. The way they put together their scouting report is very much like football. I mean, it is just amazing how they use their cut-ups to get things ready. And they were absolutely ready for that front-line high-low game of Garza and Cook coming in. Ward looking for Cassius. Feeds it back to the big foul. What a wraparound move baseline.
Well, and can I say something? Goins had a shot. You see a foul right here. Like Goins had a shot, turned it down, threw it inside to Nick Ward. Nick Ward had a shot, threw it outside to Cassius. Cassius then dribbled back and gave it to Nick for a layup.
It's just amazing.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? Even at this juncture, more than 10 points, 10 rebounds. At this juncture of the game, you could have taken, maybe a shot that you shouldn't have, but they didn't.
Think about it. He's 10 of 10, and Cassius Winston has now got 12 assists. That's high for him this season.
Well, if I'm Nick Ward, I'm taking layups all day. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm going to work my tail off to get in position, knowing that my guards are going to take care of me.
78-52. 5:55 remaining.
Nick Ward, 25 points on 10 of 10 shooting, 8 rebounds, a couple dimes.
Yeah, and Goins is almost. Yeah, he's upset with himself for finally missing one. And the next 5 games for Michigan State. By the way, Green Bay's a pretty good team. If you haven't seen them, trust me when I tell you that.
And Oakland always plays them tough here. Always plays them tough.
Northern Illinois and then Northwestern. Listen, the big key for them is just over the course of time, how will they develop? No Jaren Jackson, no Tom, no Bridges. But, you know, you get a feeling just talking to Tom that this is a kind of club, may not be a vintage or most talented team, but the kind of team that will age well as the season goes on.
Deep. And talking to Tom Izzo before, he said, Jimmy and Tim, one thing we didn't have with this schedule going to Vegas and then playing Louisville and Rutgers, we didn't have practice time.
Right.
That schedule allows them to kind of get back in the gym and practice and really work on the little subtleties of their offense and defense.
Cook, that is classic vintage Tyler Cook. He loves going to that left hand. 79-54. Foster Lawyer on the deck, number 3, operating at the point. Langford a pull-up. And I really do believe against quality teams, Jim, that's the guy. That's the X factor for Michigan State, Joshua Langford. And without any opportunity for Matt McQuaid to play over these last 3 games, I'd say they've acquitted themselves rather nicely.
Well, it's a total team effort, guys. Not trying to be individuals and trying to do things on their own, and that's the maturity of a team, especially when it comes to the backcourt. It's a backcourt because you have the ball in your hands so much that it's easy for you to get off track and kind of want to do things on your own. But as you mature as a guard, that's when you figure out that, you know, it's a lot easier for me to be successful when other guys around me are knocking in shots and being effective.
You know, we really didn't mention this earlier, but Connor McCaffrey, now at the free throw line, you know, he went through just a barrage of ailments and sicknesses last year, ultimately getting the red shirt. He's had a tough night tonight with those early fouls. Never really could get in rhythm. Little pick and roll for Ward. That was knocked away by Moss. Isaiah got his hands in there. Cook. Goins comes away with it. Henry, yes, and one.
Now, live ball turnovers kill you all the time. Outlet pass, Lawyer, 2 dribbles, bounce pass. Textbook fast break is what, you know, coaches work on all the time in practice, and how to beat or compete against a 2-on-3, I mean a 3-on-2, 2-on-1. And that's on just classic right there.
I could see in the way Lawyer moved the ball up the floor why Dane Fife loves him so much. The assistant to Tom Izzo, played at Indiana, as you know, in a Final Four team. Ward comes to sit down next to his head coach. How about that relationship now? They've come a long way together, those two.
Yeah, Tom told him, listen, you play like that, big fella. We can be dancing in Minnesota come mid-March.
Or skating, as the case may be. Well, there's one for Macy Daly.
Mid-March. Well, let me take that back. April. That's when you want to be dancing in Minnesota, in April. That's Final Four, baby.
Lawyer lost it to Cook. He's missed 2. How about this one? Not this time.
No, he wasn't going to miss that one. He took his time. He took his time on that one.
By the way, for Ward, the last Michigan State player to shoot 10 for 10 in a game, Alan Anderson, February 24th, 2005. So 10 out of 10 for Nick Ward tonight. I got Ethan Cooperson working overtime for me over here.
Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Make him earn that dollar.
Absolutely. Best in the business. Henry through the double team. Bingham tried to keep it alive, but Garza gets the outlet to McCaffrey. Moss, nothing but air, but a beautiful save. Garza, count it.
3 points, 55, Garza.
Those are the types of shots that he and Baird can hit that they simply did not in the early going tonight. That was his first field goal. He's 1 of 10 from the floor after that make.
Well, for Iowa, it doesn't get easier because now you have an in-state rival, you know, Iowa State coming up next on December 6th.
Here's Bingham. He's got that shot. Did not get that one to go.
And so you got to retool, kind of get this one out of your head to get ready for that tough matchup coming up.
Off the heel, pulled down by Goins. The ultimate glue guy, complimentary player. And right now he's 3 assists away from a triple-double himself. Kenny Goins. Being a nice dish to Goins.
It's
Totally unselfish.
It's infectious. And when you pass the ball like that, you have a great time with it. Now each player is trying to outdo the other.
Yeah. I can be nicer than you. McCaffrey. The smooth southpaw just has not been able to buy one tonight. 28 assists on 30 field goals. Oh, it feels good in Spartans country.
My main goal.
Magnificent night for Nick Ward and company. Just an epic performance, as we mentioned. First time 10 for 10 from the floor since Allen Anderson in 2005. That's going back some time. And Iowa with 18 points as a team in the paint. Ward himself with 20 for Michigan State. Inside a foul as Brown got it down low. Gabe Brown. How about that 10 for 10?
Well, you know, perfection is hard to come by. We all strive for it. But sometimes we fall a little short, but not tonight. Nick Ward, perfect 10 for 10 from the field. A variety of ways, showing a soft touch, showing power inside. And how about his teammates recognizing he had it going to continue to feed the big fella.
Young Gabe Brown at the free throw line. Freshman from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Some of the... There's the parents of Nick Ward enjoying the proceedings, and well, they should.
Nice drive from C-Bus, Columbus, Ohio, to get here.
Your favorite town.
Well, you know, I was born in Toledo. You know, the Buckeyes, of course.
Good to you.
You know, Buckeyes had a pretty good weekend. I wasn't going to bring that up. I wasn't going to bring it up.
No, don't get me started.
You know, Michigan, Northwestern, another Big Ten title, conference. You know, it's just something in the water.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Free throws coming now for Riley Till. And we talked about that Iowa schedule, and that Iowa State game now becomes much larger than maybe you previously thought. It's a rivalry game to go along with it.
Well, you can't have the hangover if you're the players, because the coaches are demanding that you have your full concentration in practice and improve on the things that you didn't do well. I can't feel sorry for yourself as part of being in a tough conference like the Big Ten.
Speaking of Iowa State, Jack Hoiberg is now running the point for Michigan State. That name sounds familiar to you. It should. He's the son of Fred Hoiberg, one-time mayor.
Can he shoot it like his father? See, that's the thing.
In the NBA.
They play horse. Who's winning that game? It's like me and my son. I don't care what he does. He's not beating me to shoot.
Well, that was going to be some good news. His father was fired today. Was set up that deuce right there, young Hoiberg. Jack getting that one up on the rim. And there's a push underneath.
Card calls on 41, Connor George.
Another sign when you know you're really getting old, when you call Johnny Orr's games with Hoiberg playing, and now his son is on the floor at Michigan State.
Well, I'm older than him, and you call my game, so what's that mean?
That's right.
What does that mean, Timmy?
Were those the roaring 90s?
Yeah. Jeez,
the roaring 90s.
Listen, I get it. I played with Lafayette Lever in Dallas, okay? Early in my career. Later in my career, when I played with the Suns, his son was on our squad in the preseason. I said, man, you know
incredible.
what? It is. Yeah. I'm getting old, bro. Well, I played the father and son.
When I first met Connor and his brother Patrick, they were basically in diapers at the 2008 NCAAs in Tampa. His dad was coaching at Siena at that time, rather than Iowa. End to end, and the layup for Daly. Maybe she finally gets one to go. 90-68. Michigan State made a statement tonight.
They did. They came back focused. Iowa put up a fight early on, but just didn't have enough.
Enjoyed it. That's our final, 90-68. Now let's go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.